Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel. This is huge. This is confirmation that Brennan, Comey, Clapper, Hillary Clinton, and others are going to be indicted. The John Bolton raid was not about Bolton. It was about what he possibly was hiding pertaining to the setup and framing of Trump. Politico, Bolton, Russian hacks could have actually been by Obama administration. In the entire internet and YouTube, I don't think anyone has gone back in time, only 10 years, like we're doing right now, and found out that, John Bolton actually blamed President Obama's administration for the alleged hacks into the DNC, calling it a false you-know-what. Hit subscribe. You will hear this right now. So we can read that Politico article, but this is really huge, and it ties into exactly this testimony from Brennan. Hit subscribe. This is absolutely huge. Bolton didn't even think that the DNC hacks that were the Russian attempt to elevate Trump even took place by that country. He initially thought it was President Obama's administration doing so. Check this out. This is a paradigm change right now, game-changing. Watch this.
I don't want to take this out of context. We see contacts and interactions between Russian officials and U.S. persons all the time. It is when it's in the context that there's something else going on. And so we knew at the time that the Russians were involved in this effort to try to interfere in our election. So with that backdrop and increasing indications that they were involved in that, seeing these types of contacts and interactions during the same period of time raised my concern.
We know that was perjury. We know that the intelligence agencies declassified information from Tulsi Gabbard stated categorically that Brennan, which is why he will get indicted almost certainly, and others, knew there was not a shred of evidence pointing to Trump and Russia, or that Russia even wanted Trump. Why would Russia want Trump when under Bush an invasion took place in that region, under Obama Crimea was annexed, and under Biden the catastrophic invasion of that country? Under Trump, none of those things at all. So why would they be so fearful of Democrats and the establishment when Russia continually did whatever it wanted under Bush, Obama, and Biden? It was the most absurd, outlandish, sophomoric attempt at a scapegoat. They knew from the declassified records that Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI chief, just released that there was intelligence showing there was no coordinated effort, and anyway, it was purchased, funded by Clinton. Brennan knew that A, the whole thing was funded by Clinton with the Steele dossier, and B, no intelligence existed that pointed to Trump and Russia. Because the intelligence community came out with the assessment and then they ignored it. They didn't want the initial assessment saying Trump was innocent. They fabricated a completely new assessment and viewpoint to investigate Trump and create a new Cold War. Check this out.
Excellent. I appreciate that qualification. But if someone left this hearing today and said that you had indicated that those contacts were evidence of collusion or collaboration, they would be misrepresenting your statements, correct?
They would have misheard my response to the very good questions that were asked of me. I'm trying to be as clear as possible in terms of what I know, what I assess, and what I can say.
So you would say that's a misrepresentation of your statement, yes?
I would say that it was not an accurate portrayal of my statement. Absolutely. Excellent. It was inconsistent with my remarks.
So let me go to the next step. If someone...
So there was no evidence. In fact, he states that categorically right here.
Did you find direct evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and Putin in Moscow while you were there?
Mr. Rooney, I never was an FBI agent. I never was a prosecutor, so I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence throughout the course of my career. As an intelligence professional,
I don't do evidence, I do intelligence, which means it could be a hunch, it could be a guess, it could be innuendo, conjecture, gossip, hearsay, rumor, it could be fabricated, it could be purchased by Clinton and the DNC. Imagine if Trump purchased a dossier alongside Rudy Giuliani and the Republican National Committee that said that Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton or President Obama or Joe Biden was in a Moscow hotel room getting a certain type of shower. Imagine. So this is confirmation yet again that he's almost certainly going to be indicted. This is not, Brennan lied almost certainly numerous times under oath, okay? The declassified documents from Tulsi Gabbard, the information that possibly John Bolton has, especially when even Bolton didn't believe that the Russians hacked the DNC, he initially thought it was an effort by President Obama's administration. This is a Politico article, okay? This is a Politico article, okay? And former Ambassador John Bolton said Sunday the hacks during the election season could have been a false operation, possibly committed by the Obama administration itself. This is a game-changing moment. All you have to do is go back in time 9 years. And it's public record. It's CNN, MSNBC, Vanity Fair, Politico. Bolton, Russian hacks could have actually been Obama administration. CNN, Bolton. Okay, Russia, top Trump advisor, Vanity Fair, top Trump advisor claims Russian hacking may have been a false operation. The Hill. Okay. And then, of course, The Hill, bad reporting twisted my false thought. Okay, so, of course, they say it's doublespeak all the time, and you have to filter through, like trying to find gold from, gold dust from a whole bunch of dirt. The actual, like, legitimate, serious expression of truth or sentiment. He's on record initially, Bolton, is saying that there was no DNC hack. In fact, James Comey stated the DNC never gave the FBI their computer servers. They literally spent money on a cyber company to ask the cyber company, oh, by the way, did the Russians hack the DNC? Oh, of course. They literally paid for that also. But check this out.
Saw what you saw. And only what you saw.
FBI agent. I never was a prosecutor, so I really don't do evidence. I do intelligence throughout the course of my career.
So the one thing he says is he doesn't do evidence because we know from Tulsi Gabbard, possibly from the Bolton raid, the evidence was fabricated. There was no evidence. There was never any evidence. Bolton knows this. That's why he stated it probably was the Obama administration initially.
As an intelligence professional, what we try to do is to make sure that we provide all relevant information to the Bureau if there is an investigation underway that they are looking into criminal activity. As I mentioned in my opening statement, I was convinced in the summer that the Russians were trying to interfere in the election. And they were very aggressive. It was a multifaceted effort. And I wanted to make sure that we were able to expose as much of that as possible.
But was there intelligence that said that the Trump campaign was colluding with Moscow during their campaign?
There was intelligence that the Russian intelligence services were actively involved in this effort. And having been involved in many counterintelligence cases in the past, I know what the Russians try to do. They try to suborn individuals.
So he did not answer the question, or you can, listen to his answer in the testimony, but he didn't want to answer the question. There was no evidence. We know that from the declassified documents. The Bolton raid was not about John Bolton, okay? It was about obtaining any information, almost certainly. It was about obtaining information that Brennan, Comey, Strzok, McCabe, Clapper, all these people were either hiding or fabricating. They set up and framed Trump under the most stupid, outlandish, absurd, nonsensical, apoplectic narrative. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is the basis for indictments.